The Election Secretariat says that official polling cards will be handed over to the Postal Department on the 20th of this month. Additional Elections Commissioner U. Amaradasa said that this will be carried out by the relevant district election officers. He added that the distribution of polling cards is scheduled to conclude on the 31st of this month.
Post officers of relevant areas and districts will take up the task of distributing official polling cards after the 20th of this month. The 28th of this month will be considered as the date for the distribution of these polling cards. The 31st of this month is scheduled as the final day to distribute these cards. Polling cards will not be distributed thereafter. Therefore, those who did not receive their polling cards should collect their cards from a post office by proving their identity.
Meanwhile, the Election Secretariat added that authorities of organizations are legally bound to provide employees with leave to cast their ballot if permission is requested in writing. Speaking to Newsfirst, Additional Elections Commissioner U. Amaradasa had this to say.
A minimum of 4 hours leave should be granted to an employee by an employer in line with the relevant election laws, and the time period could be amended taking into consideration the distance between the polling centre and the residence of the employee. We have also informed all district officers that employers are legally bound to grant leave for a considerable period of time if the employee requests for leave in writing. Steps should also be taken to display a notice regarding the granting of leave upon request, and the leave should be considered as paid leave by the employer.
A special security program has been implemented in lieu of the influx of people to the city of Colombo for the festive season. Speaking to Newsfirst earlier on this morning, police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana had this to say.
A special security and traffic arrangement is implemented in respect of the Colombo city for festive season, and apart from that we have the same plan in other major cities such as Kandy, Galle, Masara, Kegol and Anuradhapura. We have a special security plan. We have deployed police officers at the places where musical shows or other activities are conducted, and in addition to that we have deployed additional traffic officers also on the road. We have designed a special car parks for vehicle parking, and the road users, especially the visitors, the drivers of the vehicles are requested to park their vehicle in the proper place, in the authorized car parks. Otherwise, especially in the Colombo city, if it is an unauthorized parking place, the car or the vehicle will be towed to the nearest police station. And in addition to that, we are hoping to implement a special operation in respect of drunk drivers. It will be operated round the clock in the near future.
In the meantime, there have been some developments in the investigations regarding the robbery that took place at former Sri Lanka cricketer Aravinda De Silva's residence recently. We now have police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana to elaborate further on this matter.
A couple of weeks ago, a housebreaking had been reported in respect of the residence of cricketer Aravinda De Silva. Then thereafter, Palpiti police initiated investigation, and after that, Port police also joined the investigation, and finally, Port police was able to trace the suspect in this connection. And the suspect has been identified as a drug addict. Some money that had been stolen from the residence also has been recovered by the police. Further investigations are being continued by Port Police along with Colombo CCD.
The The construction of houses for those who were displaced by the Koslanda tragedy will commence today. Badula District Secretary Rohana Disanayaka noted that 75 new houses will be built under this initiative. Disanayaka noted that residents who lost their houses in the Koslanda landslide tragedy will receive these houses. The District Secretary added that the houses will be constructed on a property that was selected in the Punagala area in Bandarwala. The Department of the Registration of Persons says that steps will be taken in the coming weeks to issue national identity cards for those who do not possess them ahead of the upcoming presidential election.
We have received a total of 75,000 application forms by the 15th of this month. We are in the process of issuing ID cards for these applicants. We hope that we will be able to issue ID cards to applicants by the coming 5 to 6 days. We are trying our best to issue ID cards for those applications that we received after the 15th of December. We will issue temporary identity cards before the 8th of January if we are not able to issue these applicants with permanent ID cards.
The 11th death anniversary of the late Venerable Gangodawila Somathera was held yesterday in Colombo.
Several dignitaries participated at this function.
He said that day what was happening to the nation and the people. He attempted to awaken the nation and the people. We all know that he is a brave individual who sacrificed his life for the nation.
මේ දවස්වල විශාල දේශපාලන කුණාටුවක්. මේ කුණාටුවේ ධන බලය
There is a large political storm that is taking place. Violence is spreading. We can identify who people really are in this time. We can identify the true identity of people during this time. Whether they will bow down to power. We can find out if people bow down to elements such as ethanol businessmen. These are the traits we can find out in these times.
එතනෝල් ව්‍යාපාරිකයන්ට නැවෙනවද නැද්ද? රටේ ජාතික ධනය අමු අමුවේ මංකොල්ල කන මංකොල්ලකාරින්ට නැවෙනවද නැද්ද කියන එක මෙවැනි දේශපාලන කුණාටු වලින් තමයි තේරෙන්නේ.
The Sri Lanka cricket team depart the country on a tour of New Zealand as part of their World Cup preparations. Uncapped 21-year-old off-spinner Tarindu Kaushal has been named in Sri Lanka's squad for the tour of New Zealand, while uncapped Dushmantha Chamira also earns a place.
Sri Lanka captain Angelo Matthews and his team received a traditional Buddhist blessing before setting off on a tour of New Zealand as part of their World Cup preparations. Sri Lanka skipper Matthews insists that the Sri Lankan team will be concentrating on the 2 tests and 7 one-day internationals against the Black Caps before they start to concentrate on the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand beginning in February. Sri Lanka will be without their talisman Mahela Jayawardene, who recently retired from test matches, and Matthews admitted that he is confident that the newcomers will perform well and added that Sangakkara's presence adds strength to the lineup. Jayawardene will join the team for the one-day internationals and the World Cup before retiring from all forms of the game, while veteran Kumar Sangakkara has also announced that he will retire from one-day internationals after the World Cup.
Sri Lanka women have named uncapped players Chaturani Gunawardena and Sugandhika Kumari for their limited overs tour of the UAE, where they will play the Pakistani women in January. The other notable changes were the returns of Lasanthi Madhushani and Dilani Manodara.
Come in place of Anushka Sanjeevani, Sandhuni Abe Vikrama, Imalka Mendes and Nilakshi De Silva, who were part of the squad that played against the South African women at home in October. Wicketkeeper Manodora had been left out of the squad for the South Africa series and has now come back for the UAE tour. She had last played ODIs and T20s on the tour of India in January this year. Nilakshi Silva, Sandhuni Abe Vikrama and Nipuni Hansika were named in the list of standby players. Sri Lanka and Pakistan are scheduled to play 3 ODIs and 2 2020s in the UAE in January.
And that's a look at this edition of Newsfirst Primetime Sunrise. It was a pleasure having you with us and hope you have a great day ahead.
Hotline 0114 896 896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.